Hello, this video is titled Signs and Wonders. God magnifies the situation. He turns the volume up to focus our attention. Well, at the start of this series, I quoted George Washington in his inaugural address. And he talks about God being the ruler over the universe, nations, and people. He also continued to say that the American experiment could be recognized by all citizens of that time period to be marked by distinguished tokens of providential agency that were actually aids to the United States. My question as we go on this pondering journey is, are there providential activities that God uses now to get our attention? So the Great American Eclipse of 2024, what else happened around that time period? Well, on April 6th, author Jessica Mazzola wrote this: earthquake, Statue of Liberty lightning strike, and the solar eclipse. So is the world ending? Well, she wrote this in her article. I texted a Seton Hall professor I know, an all-around smart guy with a sense of humor, to ask his thoughts. He pointed out to me that the three events I mentioned weren't really as out of nowhere as they seem. The Statue of Liberty is actually struck by lightning several times a year. Moderate earthquakes here are rare, but they do happen. And solar eclipses don't happen all the time, but they are a normal part of the planetary rotation and are completely predictable. Humans try to look for patterns to organize the world, and sometimes something that you see as a pattern or a streak is really just something that's happening naturally. So he doesn't think we need to prepare to be beamed up. That's good. So what conclusions has she actually drawn? Well, earthquakes happen in the Northeast. Lightning hits the Statue of Liberty. Eclipses happen. Human mind observes patterns, but none of this means anything. If you feel this way and this gives you comfort, then you can just go back to sleep. Well, Jesus, quoting the prophet Isaiah in Matthew, said this: though seeing they do not see, though hearing they do not hear or understand. In them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. You will be ever hearing but never understanding. You will be ever seeing but never perceiving. For this people's heart has become calloused. They hardly hear with their ears, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise they might see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and understand with their hearts and turn, and I would heal them. Jesus said, blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. So, he who has eyes, let him see. He who has ears, let them hear. He who has a mind, let him discern. The men of Issachar understood the times and knew what to do, and that was not just true culturally. They studied their environment. Shouldn't these events give you pause to stop and reflect? Let me go through the items that the author mentioned, because if God governs in the affairs of men and nations, should we at least try and listen? Well, the Statue of Liberty lightning strike on April 3rd of 2024 was really something. The storm was called a wild storm by the newspaper, and the fact that this image was even captured seems both providential and prophetic to me. And the striking the torch of liberty, this is profound. The earthquake she mentioned happened just 2 days later on April 5th. It was the strongest earthquake in 140 years in the Northeast, and its magnitude was 4.8. The earthquake's epicenter was close to New York City, and all 4 covenant places felt it. What do I mean by covenant places? I mean Plymouth, Massachusetts, where the Mayflower Compact was signed. I mean New York City, where the U.S. Constitution was commenced with George Washington's inaugural and swearing in. I mean Philadelphia, where the Declaration of Independence was passed and heralded, and America's battle psalm, Psalm 35, was given to the Continental Congress by heaven. And I mean Jamestown, Virginia, where the first landing covenant was proclaimed. 42 million people felt this earthquake, and the 4.8 magnitude number is kind of remarkable and makes me wonder and ponder if that ties and focuses attention and joins the earthquake to the 4.8 solar eclipse. Certainly something to ponder. On average, total solar eclipses are visible somewhere on the Earth once every few years, but usually at the poles or over the oceans. Why was it this timing? Just 2 days after a 4.8 magnitude earthquake. Just 2 years before the country's 250th birthday. Is it a wake-up call? Not mentioned by the author is something else that occurred just before that lightning strike and that earthquake, and that is on March 26th, the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed in Baltimore. Francis Scott Key is the author of the Star-Spangled Banner. That anthem has 4 stanzas. We sing the first, but the 4th stanza is profound. "Oh, say, can you see it begins?" It continues in the 2nd stanza and the 3rd until we get to the 4th stanza, where in yellow it says, "Blessed with victory and peace, may the heaven-rescued land praise the power that hath made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must when our cause it is just, and this be our motto, in God is our trust." As a nation, do we praise the power that made us as a nation? As a nation, do we praise the power that preserves us as a nation? As a nation, do we really believe in God is our trust? Where are the pastors and spiritual leaders that can lead in this? So this year of ponderings, a bridge collapse of the namesake of the author of the national anthem that declares "In God we trust," a Statue of Liberty lightning strike striking the very torch of liberty, an earthquake epicenter that influences all 4 of the covenant locations, and remarkably it was 4.8 in magnitude, and then a 4.8 April 8th solar eclipse that entered at Eagle's Nest, passed over 4 cities named Nineveh and 3 others nearby, only 4 towns named Nineveh in the entire United States, and the epicenter being Little Egypt and Devil's Kitchen. These coincidences, or providences, I like to think, cause me to ponder. Why had all of these happened so clustered together? 4 major things in 13 days, and even in the sequence they occurred, with the eclipse being the last of the 4 things. 3 things to get our attention in order to pay attention to even more the significance of the April 8th eclipse. God magnifies the situation. Are we listening? These are things that I ponder. My name's Craig Seibert. Thanks for listening.